to episode 5 of VIP's Only Podcast.
All right.
Yeah, we are getting started. We do have a special guest here for this afternoon, but they won't be here in person. But we do have a special guest here for this afternoon. Again, myself, my name is Tablang, available for this podcast, and also to my right is James Lopez.
Welcome to our podcast. What is that? Fifth, right?
Fifth
Wow.
episode.
All right, so we're excited to, with this podcast, and we might have a special guest in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yes.
Couple of events. We have a Super Saturday coming up, which is excited.
June 26th.
Yes, sir. And seats are filling up, and starting to to be booked fully, and we're still have a couple of spots open. So we're really excited to see that event. Couple of topics we're gonna start about. How was your week?
Oh man, this week has been so busy, so busy this week.
Wow.
I was actually right before heading to the office. I'm like, man, how am I gonna be next week? I'm already fully booked too for the weekend.
Wow,
right?
wow.
So
No breaks, huh?
Oh yeah, there's no breaks, but that's what we do, right? That's what we do. How about yours?
Luckily, you went to the zoo already.
Oh no, dude! I'm actually enjoying. I'm actually for Father's Day. Father's Day is in what? Not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Oh, wasn't it this week or?
No, sorry. I think it's June 20.
I
June
thought
20
it was this week.
on the next Sunday, and we're actually going to be what do you call this? Going out on a trip to San Diego the whole weekend. So
Wow.
I took out that whole weekend next week. So that's gonna be finally off for myself.
That would be nice. San Diego is nice. I like San Diego. There's a good place we eat there for fish. It's called Blue Ocean, I believe.
Oh.
That one's like a small fish.
we gotta check that out.
Yeah,
I've already rented out one of the cabanas at the Coronado Beach.
Nice.
That'll be on Friday. We're excited for what's gonna be happening.
I like that area compared to like downtown. I mean, it's good to eat, or drinks, things like that. But like if you want to like family or just on the beach and stuff, Coronado Beach is nice. Yeah.
Well, if you guys are there in the area, I'll be there on Friday. I don't know what time I'll be there, but I'll be there on Friday.
All right. So topics. Actually, I was gonna bring up a topic last week. But we have run out of time because we have really a good story last week.
Yes.
So you've been in the work field before. How long did you work before?
About a week. A year before I went into
To the business.
Yes, into the business.
So and then you did part time, right?
Yeah, I started doing part time.
Right. So, there's like, I guess, characteristics or things like that maybe you had before, or maybe you learned during your job before. What skills or characteristics do you think is important that you took here in the business, or maybe you're looking forward to maybe your new associate or business associates? What are those, like maybe like one or two? I know commitment is one, those are given, and passion and stuff. But what other characteristics or skills or value you think is really important? Not just only you, maybe or someone you're looking after.
Actually, one of the things that I've really learned, being in this business for now almost 6 years now, right? We just passed over 5 years. Been in the industry for more than 7 years now. Is empathy. I think empathy is going to be one of the biggest things that a lot of these new entrepreneurs, a lot of these new agents that come in, a lot of people that are trying to learn the business about empathy. You really gotta understand the emotions of who you're talking to, and that's not just gonna help you with selling a product. It's not just gonna help you becoming a leader.
Yeah.
But it's gonna help you in all aspects, because if you can understand the person you're talking to, understanding the emotions that's going on, understanding what they are thinking about the whole situation, it's just gonna be so much easier. And I'm not gonna say that it's something that is easily learned, And I'm not gonna say like go on like a course and buy like $2,000-$3,000 worth of these. I
How
don't
to
think,
empathize.
Yeah, how to empathize. I don't think it's something that you have to like purchase to learn it. I think you if you can just like maybe just go on YouTube, something that's free, and you see what empathy really is, and you learn it through the daily practices, daily sales with your mentor, with your coaches, with your leaders. It's something that if you can get used to, you can start using it to your advantage. It's gonna be,
And that's something too, like, it's not given, but something that is part of being a nurse as well, because our background is actually as a nurse, right? Yeah. And empathizing someone, the way I understand it or perceive it is a deeper sympathy.
Yeah.
And it's something that we really have to have as a nurse before, but it doesn't, there's no difference.
There's no difference
on being a nurse or doing this business.
Exactly.
Because you cater to people, you service, it's a service industry that you have to have that empathy.
Actually, that's what I was trying to, you actually made a good point on there. Yes, we do have a lot of nurses, in our agency, but the if you think about it, they're doing very well. Why is that? You said it. We've been kind of trained. It's been kind of like built in. You chose the nursing route or whatever in the medical field, that your main goal is to serve. Your main goal is to, if you're serving, you're not just there to serve, you're there to really understand what's going on with the whole picture. And you bring that same skill set that you it's not natural. You trained it. You trained it daily, maybe whether to be school, whether it be through work, whether to be daily practices, and you brought it here to the business. It's something that like, wow, I actually can put it to use, not in the nursing field, but I can do it in
this field. Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think, yes, like commitment, passion, discipline, all of that, hard work, persevering through everything. All of that is,
it's kind of like given.
It's given.
Yeah.
It's a given. But, some of the basic skill sets that we've forgotten, like empathy, is really big.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because in the end of the day, yes, we're helping client, as cheesy as it sounds, some people will still see it like it's still a business, of course you're getting paid, there's commissions, things like that. But that itself, empathy is like, it takes you back to who you are as helping people, like regardless of the money, regardless of how much you're going to make on that sale, regardless of how much policy they're going to get, things like that. People can feel the authenticity of that just because your empathy.
Yeah.
They know that you're there because you care for them.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
How do you relate empathy now on a business side?
See, here's okay. I see it a lot when I'm doing a lot of client presentations, and a lot of the client presentations, whether it be client presentations or whether it be recruiting agents or whether it be bringing new agents into the agency, a lot of it has to do with sales strategies. So if you can put empathy into the equation of the whole situation, you're gonna have a much easier time whether presenting that product. So you can present a product, right? But you have such an easier time selling that product now for them to get it, because you're trying to understand where that product fits in their life. Yeah. Or we can go back into the getting agents into the agency, or you're recruiting people to come into the team. It's more of, where does this business solve a problem in their life? But because there's a lot of problems that people have, we're just not showing it. Like we talk about social media, right? A lot of social media it's just the live happy reels of someone's life, but you never get to see behind the scenes of what they're really doing. That's why I love the first episode of our podcast, when we talked about what was your life,
your backstory,
backstory, like your life before this, and that's how we go back into empathy, because you're trying to solve the problems of what they don't know yet, or maybe they are finally telling you. You can actually understand that, this is something that can fit this puzzle. This is something that we can help to solve your problems. Yeah, let's go ahead and work.
And that's one good suggestion too, because like couple podcasts too, they ask like, how do you become a good presenter, or how you make a good connection with someone in this industry, or as a client or a business partner, and that's through empathy.
Yeah.
Take away the business, take away the products is good, it's given, but how can you connect to someone's story? How can you fit in on someone's story? Not taking away something out of them, but how you can add value to them and connecting them through that, being empathy on that one. So yeah, so that's one good one for me. It kind of relates to nursing too. One is patience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In this business, you really have to have a lot of patience. Before we even started the podcast, you were mentioning about, your past appointments. Sometimes clients will be really meticulous on things, because of course they're getting something, for themselves. They really have to know what is
what
for them.
Getting.
Yeah.
What they're getting.
So it takes a lot of patience. Also the same thing as business, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of like a jack of all trades. Yes, you're a nurse, but sometimes you're a teacher. So somebody asks you, sometimes they need one-on-one trainings, and even though you already went through that thing every day, they're still gonna ask the same question.
Yep.
And if you don't have patience, you're not gonna have a good relationship, right?
Yeah.
So have you had experience on that one too?
Actually, patience. Patience is very, very big. Especially when you start this business specifically, you're not gonna learn everything all at once, right?
Yeah.
You gotta understand that. Like how long is it now? It's been about 6 years now, close to 6 years now for me with this company specifically, and I didn't learn. I'm still learning every single day. But you have to be you have to have that fact already placed in you, saying that it's gonna have some patience. It's gonna take some patience, really learning all of this. And when you're transitioning from not just a regular agent, learning the business into becoming a leader in your industry, or maybe becoming a key figure in your industry or in this business, the patience that you need to do to train the agents that come in, where you will have to say, or you have to repeat the same thing over and over again, because whatever you taught that person the first day, you're going to teach that same brand new person a year later, or a year after that, or a month after that, whatever it may be. And you've got to be patient with these new people who were in the same position as you were in, or we were in. We thank the leaders and the mentors that we have that they were able to teach us. Now we have to pay it forward. Right, and teach again.
And that's what consistency is too, because you keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
But surprisingly too is that even though, yes, there are times you might get irritated. This is the same thing again, But surprisingly, there's still things you learn new, despite it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Because new questions might come up, things like that. Plus, it's really, really important too for your clients as well. To have that patience, because basically it's a relationship business. You have to really be there for them. So another one that I have is initiative.
Yes.
On my work life before, I've observed different types of employees, and you also manage a couple of employees before as well. There's employees that you don't have to tell them what they need to do. They just know what to do.
They just know.
Right? They're the type of people that they're gonna do whatever they can or they have to. If let's say, I feel like I'm not working right now, I have to do something. They have that initiative. Or I think about initiative too, is like it's a best learning experience as well, because you have that initiative to find solution for things that doesn't work, or an issue or a problem, right? You have that initiative. Or let's say, I don't know how to do illustrations. I don't know how to submit application, or how can I fix this? Instead of, finding easy way to get a solution. Yes, I can ask someone, I can text someone, I can email someone to get that answer fast, but you don't learn that much, as opposed to like you're the one who found the answer. Right. So I think initiative is one big thing. There's other employees as well that they're not lazy, but they're the type of people that you have to tell them what to do. there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that you have to guide them.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's one that, really just goes in just for the paycheck, doesn't really, work, right? So for me, it's like initiative in a way, to check up on things, or maybe if you don't know something, or let's say, oh, I don't know how to present, maybe Ace is busy, things like that. Let me try to learn it.
Yeah.
That's a big way to succeed in the business and always moving forward on the business.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say on that?
Actually, I do want to share some stuff with that. I mean, I don't know if I shared this on the backstory back on episode 1, but my family's owned RCFEs since 1997. And growing up, we were all thinking to myself, maybe this is a business that I would maybe most likely have to do, because it's a family run business. But specifically here, since it's been 1997, we've had a lot of caregivers that worked for us. I've also, right when I got into high school, started getting into administration, volunteer work right after getting out of high school, starting to become an administrator.
So despite of yes, your parents already started a business, things like that, it wasn't simply like it was handed to you.
No.
You really went through like an actual person starting from the bottom to go up.
Yeah, really learn the process. And you get to see initiatives from everybody else, even from some of the workers. Some of them, you train them once and they will try to do everything themselves, right? They're very like independent. They'll take initiative for every single action that has to be done, right? There are some workers where you have to direct them every single time. Like, you got to do this on this time, this on this time, this next. And then some were they're not lazy, but they need some type of direction.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can get initiative, if you can already get the concept of initiative right away as you work in any, not just in this business, but any industry that you work in, you're going to start to see yourself grow more as a person, and you're going to start to see more success in your business specifically. Because exactly like, if like, let's say if I was training an agent, becoming a leader, and let's say I am not available, you can do two things. One is, okay, wait for me to have time, right? Wait for Ace to have time to finally train me. Or do I go out and actually learn the stuff? Do I watch videos? Do I watch some tutorials? Are there other past webinars, past trainings that can teach me on this? And if you can learn to take that initiative, right, based on whatever industry that you're in, you're already going to be ahead of the game.
Yeah, it helps you grow in the business too, because this is only my question. I found the answer, but along the way, I have more questions now. And it builds a good trust within the team as well. It gives you a harmonious teamwork. Just because like for example, when you were working in your parents' business, when everybody we train at the same time, now you know what you're doing and you guys have initiative, it will come to a point like everybody knows what their part is. You come in there, you don't have to say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Everybody knows their part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about having initiative also in this business is, you work independently, right? That's the thing, is that a lot of times we forget, like, in this business, it's still a business and it's your business. Yes, we have teams, you have your managers, things like that, but you have to also kind of work alone in a way, because it's your business. And if you have a team now and you build a team, you're responsible for that team to manage it, because again, in the end of the day, you're a business owner, right? So it's really, really important to have those characteristics. I know there's a lot you can name, all the words in the dictionary, you can have, but you have to have at least the basics, right? So that's kind of like my topic in terms of that, because I see that sometimes some of our associates, yes, they started a business 100% from this, or somebody is like maybe on a job and doing this part-time. There are skills that you can still bring to the business, although it's a new industry, things like that. But what you learn as being an employee or in your job, you can still bring in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. So do you have any
Yeah,
topic?
I actually wanted to go over. Well, one is I wanted to conclude specifically with what you were saying regarding all these skill sets, and then this will also segue into the next topic that I want to do. You know, a lot of our associates, our agents, um, they have a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
They have a full-time job, and there's nothing wrong with having like a full-time job or a 9 to 5, or whatever you need to do to pay those bills, whatever you need to do to be able to live every single day. You just got to do it, right? But what a lot of people, when they look at this business, this is pertaining because I got a an agent that came to one of my meetings, and I think you like this topic. Came to one of my meetings, and saying, "Oh, I've been here now for over a month. I've been listening to the meetings for over a month, but I haven't signed up yet. I haven't done the business. I don't even know when I want to do it. I still have a full time.
But they're consistent on attending.
Consistent in
Okay.
attending. And then their biggest thing is I don't know how to start, because if I start, I'm afraid that I'm gonna fail, right? I'm afraid that I'll mess everything up.
Yeah.
I'm already tired, coming from work, but I'm coming here because I like to see what can possibly happen to myself if I do this business. And we talked to this whole, we talked about this whole discussion specifically with this agent. Well, soon to be agent. Hopefully she does work with us. But what would you say to someone who is full time with a job, who wants to get more in their life, right? Who says, you know what, I think I need to create a side hustle, or I need another opportunity in my life. What is something that you would say to someone in that position?
Yeah, I like that one. And that's basically one of the purpose of this podcast, is to enlighten people that maybe share the same story or struggles, right? And for me, I like that. I like learning, difference from different stories, because it makes us better. Just knowing like those type of struggles, right? The thing is that I also trying to understand, human natures and behaviors and things like that. It's the same question you have to ask yourself too. When you first applied to that first job that you had, and you go through the whole process of getting hired, interviews, resumes, how did you start?
Yep.
Right? What gave you the reason to apply on that job? What gave you the reason to pursue that career? Right? What was the decision was made? If you go back more, is why did you choose that career path, or why did you took that college degree? Right? So it's always a question of, how do we start on the new venture? But if you go back, you had the same question beforehand.
Yeah.
How do I start with this job? Let's say, yes, I got a degree from nursing, for example, right? I learned things in nursing, but it's the same question that you have when you're going to apply on your first job. You still have that jitters that, yeah, I went to school, but this is real life now.
Yeah.
It's not school.
Yeah.
So how do I start?
Yeah.
And it's the same process. You learn, you're training, you make mistake. That's the lesson you're going to learn. You try to correct it, and you grow from there. And until the point that you become comfortable, just because you know what you're doing now, that you can be independent. And it's the same thing in this business too. And that's, I guess, kind of like the wall that a lot of new associates that comes to the business, that they think like, yes, it's a new industry. I understand that there's fear, it's scary, right? It's something different. And it's not like a job that I have to clock in and out, and it gives you purpose, even though, let's say, you hate your job anymore, just because you're required to show up at work and have clock in and out.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to as business owner, you don't really have that, but you still have the responsibility, actually more hours than an employee.
Yeah.
But it's the same question you will always ask is, how do I start? But like your example of your associate, you always go to this meeting consistently or keep attending this meeting. So what's stopping you?
Yep.
It's not how you want to start. The more question is, we go back to the couple podcasts, is your why.
Yeah.
Why do you want to change your life? Why are you not happy with your job? So it, regardless of what you need to do, if you have to make a change, you have to, right? So that's what I want to send a message to a lot of people, is that you always gonna have that question. No, but I had the same question. People are that successful in the business have the same question. I guarantee you, even though our mom was doing this business, our family has been doing this business, you'll still have to ask the question, like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
Right. And most of the time too is that it's hard to do it on your own, especially if you're doing it as a family business, because it's kind of like, people will think it's handed to you and given to you, but still you're still a same person. You're still human. You're gonna ask the same question.
Yeah.
Right. So so that's it. You just have to start.
Yeah, there was a post that was shared to me, and then, I was like, I looked at it and I'm like, man, actually this would be a really good post that motivate some of these agents. And the quote goes something like this. It goes like, if you try and fail, congratulations, right? Most people don't even try. And then the second follow up quote, a post that was shared to me was, people, high school students, you're trying to get that best grade, you're climbing this mountain, you're almost there, and then boom, college, right? Let's say college or entrepreneurship, right? And if in college, okay, perfect, I'm gonna get the career that I want, I'm about to climb this mountain, and all of a sudden, boom, now after college, it's life, right?
Yeah,
it's life, whether that be business or entrepreneurship. You've got to see this big mountain now ahead of you. It's like, this is life now. It's going to hit you now. So how I look at life specifically is, you can do two things about it. You can be passive about everything. When it comes to you, you just take it for granted. You just go ahead and just attack it when it comes to you.
Yeah.
Or you can actually take action before it comes to you, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and create that action for ourselves? So in this case, we actually ended that meeting and the conversation with the agent and saying this, what's the worst that can happen, right? Really, like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I like that.
You've been here for almost a month, right? You've been here for almost a month. You haven't started yet, but really, what's the worst that can happen, right? You made a decision to come here on the first meeting, and whether you liked it or not, there was a force, maybe an attraction, maybe
there was
catalyst.
something.
There was something that made you come the second time and the third time,
and kept you coming. Yeah,
kept you coming in. You start thinking, like you said, like she said, I come here because I like to see what my life could be, if I did this. So when we think about what's the worst thing that can happen, and
I like that. Yeah, and you just have to change the way you ask yourself. Instead of asking, how do I start in this business? Why am I not starting?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, I've seen a lot of this, like you said, the posts and stuff, is that instead of you keep on thinking how to start or how to start this business, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. Instead of just keep on thinking about those questions, just put action.
Yeah.
Instead of question, you take action and do that, and see if it's for you.
Yeah.
Because nothing will change. I ask myself every day, how am I going to start? How am I going to do this? Tomorrow morning you wake up, it's the same thing, and nothing has changed. And next thing you know, it's been 6 months, a year, 2 years, but you're still attending the meetings or still trying to learn, but nothing is changing just because you haven't changed your way of questioning yourself as well.
Yep. That's
right. So that's the very important is the way we perceive things. We just have to look at on a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So that was that one went deep. All right, so we're gonna have a guest, although it's kind of different today.
Yeah, it's a little bit different today.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a phone interview, and bear with us. It's gonna be our first time doing this phone interview. So I've known this person for a long time. I've heard her story, but still, it amazes me every time she share her story. She's one of our associate, and the reason why I want to invite her as well because was the top income earner for this week as well. So let's give her a call if I can find her number.
Bear with us real quick. This is our first time doing a guest over the phone.
It will really be cool if it works.
Hello.
All right. Hi, Tita. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So I'm here with Ace. So we're doing the podcast. As mentioned, we were gonna interview you. So how are you doing?
I'm good. Trying to recuperate.
Yeah, I know
I'm sorry I couldn't come to the office because of my fever, and I don't want to expose you guys to it.
No, we appreciate it. You have to get better first, right? So I was introducing you earlier and want to congratulate you because you were the top income earner this week.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Am I?
Yeah, yes.
That's how it good. She doesn't even know.
That's how focused you are, huh? So we want to hear your story. I know we've talked before in a personal level, and know we've known your story, but a lot of people doesn't know your story, your backstory. So kind of give an introduction of yourself and how you started the business, and what was the reason why you started in the business.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Marivis Suarez. I started the business, I think the year 2012, but not really focused. And the reason why I started the business because I'm a functional quadriplegic and with other illnesses, so it's really hard for me to get insured. So with even a low immune system, so it's really hard for me to be out and about with other people, especially if those people around me will be sneezing or coughing, and then maybe hours later I'll be sick. So
and for those that doesn't know what functional quadriplegic means, is she's functional, meaning she walks like a normal person, but the thing is she doesn't feel it. Like before she asked me to pinch her and she doesn't feel it, right? That's the problem.
Yes, that's the problem. Yeah. The thing, I'm just lucky enough that I can still move. I can walk, although I don't feel uh, some parts of my body, but I still can walk and do stuff. So I am still thankful for that.
Yeah.
So I started with the insurance business 2012, but I wasn't happy with the company I was representing.
And prior to that, Tita, were you working before you tried and venture to the business?
Yeah, I was a manager at a dialysis office.
Oh, okay. And then what like sparked the interest on the industry?
Not being able to be protected, no insurance.
Oh,
so
okay.
So my advice to our listeners, it's better to get the insurance while you don't need it. Because when you finally do need it, you cannot get it anymore. So that's why I ventured into insurance, because I really wanted to protect my family. Sorry, excuse me. I wanted to protect my family like I will not be able to protect myself. You know, with my condition, all I can get is the final expense.
Yeah.
So don't wait for that. So people were trying to ask me that how am I doing with this pandemic, and if I'm okay to be stuck at home. And I laugh at that because even without the pandemic, I'm in 365 days of the year, I am mostly, I think half of the year,
At
I'm stuck
home.
at home.
Yeah.
So there's really no difference with me from before the pandemic to now. So with our listeners, I'd really suggest and advise for them to really help people understand that our insurance is not that life insurance is not an expense. It is really a necessity. And with people who have cars, I know it's mandatory. It's mandated by the government that they have to get car insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you get an insurance for yourself?
Yeah.
God forbid something happens to you. If you're the breadwinner of the family, will your family that was left behind will be able to still maintain the lifestyle? Well, if you have children that still goes to school, will they be able to afford to go to school? So something like that. And the kind of insurance that we have, just it's not just for the beneficiary. It's also for yourself. Because God forbid you get sick, you're in disability. How will you support yourself or your family? They have to take into consideration every single thing that they do in life.
Yeah.
Like right now, they really have to think about the possibilities. Not everyone is really going to be there for you all the time to help you. Because also those people that are willing to help you also have families, also have responsibilities. So you also have to really think what is best for you and for your family.
And Tita, like you mentioned, one of the reason you started in the business is because at the time when you had those diagnoses, and if for those that don't know, she actually had multiple diagnoses. Like all the medical questions you see on the application,
Mm-hmm.
she can mark them off
Wow.
mostly because
Yeah.
she,
Wow.
yeah, that's why like she's a living miraculous lady because she survived all of those things, and that's why it inspires us, tremendously because we always see her, happy, smiling, but not a lot of people know what her struggles,
Yeah.
in the past. So that was the main, burning desire you had to really be in this business because the question now is what if I got in a living benefits before I got diagnosed, right?
Yes. What if I have those four living benefits now? I won't be. I know I have my with me right now that really is a good support, and I don't have a problem when it comes to financial stuff. But the thing is, if I had that, it's also a huge help.
Yes, yes.
It's really a big help.
Yeah, because medical expense, it doesn't matter if you have a
Oh,
good
yes,
coverage or you're financially able to afford those things. It still can hurt your finances because that's
yes,
something
yes,
unexpected, right? So, and a lot
yes.
of listeners too, Tita, is like, some of the questions like we were talking earlier is like, how do I start? How do I start the business? And like the story you said, most of the time, just to protect yourself, although you can go out if you want to, but you just wanna don't take the risk. How are you still able to do the business and share your story and share the benefits that we have, despite of your condition and you're all mostly at home.
Oh, okay. Because it's hard for me to go out and really be around people right now. So what I did is I tried to find a vehicle for me in order to have people contact me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's okay to mention it here.
So yeah, you have other businesses also that you
Yeah,
also do, right?
yeah. So yeah, I have that beauty products that I market, and of course, I make sure that they ask me questions, and then they come and come here to pick up the product, and I also mention, and then I casually mention to them what other business I do. I give them my business card,
Mm-hmm.
and then once they see it, and then they ask, "Oh, I already have this." So I mention them, and I tell them, "Okay, you have this, but do you have this and this and that? We have the living benefits. The most important part is the living benefits."
Mm-hmm.
And then no, they would answer no. So I explain it to them. And then other ways of me is that I call friends
Yeah.
and ask them, "Hey guys, I miss you." And then and also I call my clients
Mm-hmm.
and then ask them how they're doing. I contact them regularly. So how's everyone? And then are you happy with your insurance? And they said yes. So if you're happy, would you recommend me to somebody else? And then they do. So they give my contact number, and then or I ask them for the contact number. And you know what we do in the text? They connect me with the person in a group chat because
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have them connect me as a group chat. And then that's how I do it.
Wow. So you're
Just
trying to
just
find
because
ways. You're trying to find ways to kind of market the business because that's still your number one and your passion is the living sharing the living benefits. So you were
yes,
able to find ways how to to kind of like adapt that I cannot go out. So how can I make people meet me instead of me going out? That's a different
yes,
approach of doing business because a lot of times our struggle is how do I go out and talk to people? But you actually
yes.
did better because you were able to find ways how they can go to me.
Hmm.
Yes, that's what I do because I don't want to stop um, helping people. It's not really helping them like monetarily,
Hmm.
financially. No, helping them understand the importance of living benefits.
Yeah. Do you have any question, Eric?
There's one thing, Tita Marivi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
can.
Hey, by the way, thank you so much for being on here. We really appreciate your time to be on the podcast. No, we really do. There was actually one thing. As I hear the story, a lot of our listeners and the viewers will love to hear this because, you said functional quadriplegic, and
Yes,
we can check mark pretty much every single box on that life insurance application. All these health questionnaires, we pretty much check off that I've had this. And that's why we're declined on that application. But with all of these, with all the things that has happened to you, we talk about this specifically. We know, just like James said earlier. um, a lot of people who see the business, they don't want to start yet because of XYZ factors, that they don't want to go. But you've had it upon yourself where you've had all of these things happen to you, yet you still move forward. Yet now, because of what happened, is you became the top income earner this week. And all of these good things are happening. What can you say to as an inspiration for those, what keeps you going? What can get you started in the business? For someone that's really just seeing this industry for the first time.
what got me into the business, what my motivation is,
Yes.
what my why is
Yes.
my family.
Okay.
My family is my why. That God forbid something happens to me, I know that they will be taken care of. And another why is why not,
Hmm.
Oh, I like that.
right?
Hmm.
Why not? Why not start now? There's no such thing that I'm too late. It's too late. No, it's never too late. It's just like why not start this? Why not get this? It's not why not. It's really hard to explain it, and it's really hard to tell people or to explain to people, because sometimes they really think about insurance as an expense. That's really the number one factor. Sometimes, you have to realize that when people loses their job, the first thing that they will remove is the life insurance.
Correct.
That's why I always ask them, why? Why? And their response to me is also, why not?
Why not
So
keep it?
yeah, and I go, I give them back the question. I said, why? That's what I asked them, James. It's why not keep it? It's for your safety.
Yeah.
It's for your family's benefit.
See, I like that because it's a
So
different perspective of, instead of asking, why I can't do this, why is it so hard? Just why not? Why
Yeah.
not do it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's hard. Why not do it, right?
Yeah.
So I like that one. That was good. When you did the business before, Tita, because you mentioned you were a manager before, did you do the business part time, or what was the turning point that you decided to just, okay, I'm gonna do this full time?
I think the turning point was when I had the heart attack.
Oh, and then you were working at the time when before
Yeah,
that
I would
happened.
know. I was done working because my paralysis kept on hindering my driving, and my immune system was really bad.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
then I stopped doing it for a while, and then I had the heart attack.
Mm.
So I was in the hospital and contemplating, is like, what is my purpose in life? Why
Wow.
was I again given a chance to survive this? Because mind you, I did not know that I was already having mini heart attacks for 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
thought it was just heartburn.
Wow.
She shared the story
Yes,
to me, and it was, I was surprised.
yeah.
Wow.
So so I woke up one morning. It's like something jumped on my chest that was so heavy that I couldn't breathe. And because I was I thought I was having the heartburn for the past 2 weeks. So I had my antacid beside me all the time. So I called my doctor and I asked him to give me a strong dose of antacid because I was having this heartburn for 2 weeks. And he told me to go to the ER right away. And so my daughters brought me to the hospital, but I saw the ER was full and I saw urgent care beside it, no people around. So that's where I went. Within entering the
Urgent care.
urgent care, seconds later, I felt that tightness of my chest, and then the nurse there saw me, brought me inside. I had the heart attack as soon as I got in the urgent care.
Wow. So those mini heartburn, right? It was the small heart attacks you've been experiencing. It's not really
Yes,
heartburn.
yeah, it was not heartburn. It was really mini heart attack. So I don't know if they call it mini heart attack or mini stroke, but I had a heart attack already at urgent care.
So it was a
So
perfect timing in a way that you were already in the urgent care when the actual heart attack happened.
yes, they said 5 minutes I would have been dead.
Whoa.
So that made me really think that, okay, I survived this attack. What is my purpose in life? And that dawned on me that, you know what, you have to really educate people. That was what entered my mind, is educate people the importance of a life insurance with living benefits. It's
Wow.
not really the word help did not come into mind. It's the word educate.
Wow.
Educating people educating people about what we do is really important,
So now
because if you
that,
just tell them you need this, no, you have to explain it to them.
And your
not just
story is
help
the
that they
powerful way of sharing and educating them about living benefits. Because, like you said, is what if I gotten this before those things happened, right? And you were
yes,
lucky enough to be given a second life and lucky enough to have a very supportive family, and you can still survive the financial struggles despite of all the medical expenses. But what if for those people are not fortunate enough and living paycheck to paycheck and something that's happened unexpectedly? How
yes,
can you survive that, right? So
that's
yes,
true.
wow. So that was a wow, that was a very very good story that you shared. So thank you so much on that one. Do you want to add or ask more?
Well, yeah, no, well, there is one more. I think we still have some
Yeah.
time. If that's okay with you, Tita Marvi. You know,
Yeah,
you
I'm just
you know just
going,
just really quick. I want to ask, like, how long have you now been doing the business? So for the viewers to know.
For the viewers to know, since 2012,
2012.
and then I stopped, and then I went again 2018
Okay.
since I joined FEG.
Okay. Okay. And so, man, that's been a while.
Yeah.
That's been a
Yes,
while.
yes,
One of the things here, and this is a topic that we talked about earlier during the podcast. You're still constantly learning, right? You're still constantly learning new things, because
yes.
one of the things that we talked about is patience, right? We're never gonna learn everything all in one
Mm-hmm.
day. It's gonna take some time to learn all of this, right? And as
True,
you're
true.
talking to a lot of your clients as well, you're providing them the benefits. You're educating them on the purpose of life insurance, of living benefits, and you're teaching them why they need to get it now. Like you said earlier, get it before something happens. Because once something does happen, you most likely won't be able to get it, or it may be too expensive,
Correct.
right?
Yes, yes,
So
true.
one of the things that you said your wife, your family, it's very big. No, I strongly believe that support, like having good support from your family as well, doing this business is very very big, and doing this for your family is something that it's really that why. When people really start on something, there has to be that why
Mm-hmm.
that drives them, that pushes them to do this. And now in 2021, you said the pandemic didn't really do much, because yes, you were half of the year you were at home, right?
She was on
Yes,
her own type of pandemic.
Your
Like,
own type of
yeah.
pandemic, yeah.
yeah.
So for the viewers listening, this is the exciting one. Where do you see yourself now 5 years from now in the business? Where can we see Mari V 5 years from now?
You know what? I'm thinking about. I was just thinking about that myself, and I was saying, well, I think 5 years from now I'll be a quarter of a million
Mm.
earner. I'm
Wow.
like,
Wow.
can I?
Oh
Yes.
And I
yes.
go, can I do that? And
Why not?
and I go, and I answered myself, why not? You know, the, the only person that will stop you is yourself,
That's right. That's
Wow.
so true.
and the only person that will push you is yourself. So a villain and a villain, and also the main character is you,
Yes.
yourself.
You're the main character in your own story, right?
Yes. So the one that will push you is yourself. The one that will stop you is yourself. So if
Wow.
people ask you, and if you ask them to join you, and then they will answer you, but I'm not good at sales. You always hear that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
They always tell you, but I'm not good at sales. So your response should be good. I'm not looking for salespeople. I'm looking for people who are passionate about helping others.
I like that.
And then
Hmm.
you just tell them, I'll teach you the rest.
Correct. Yeah. That
So that's
that
the only
I
thing.
like that. You are responsible for everything. You can push yourself, or you can stop yourself from being successful, right? So
Yes.
yes. So Tita Marivi, to end it, because I don't want to hold you too long, because I want you to get better, because I know you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Um, how do you define success in your own words?
How do I define success?
How would you
You know,
say
when
that Marivi already succeeded or is successful?
I can honestly say that I'm successful because I did the illness. I don't let it put me down. I always keep a positive mind. I always make myself happy, even if sometimes the pain is um, unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
But I always keep it positive. That you know what, I'm still, I'm still living. I'm still laughing. I'm still breathing. I still have my family. That makes me successful.
And we're so happy to have you and, seeing you that. And you bring a lot of positivity to a lot of people every time we see you. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
and that's how she defines success is that in small, even doesn't matter how big or small the wins is, she grateful on those things, because despite of what happened to her, those little things that she has, just waking up every day is already a win for her, and we're so happy every morning she wakes up. For us,
You wake up
it's
and you open.
yes.
Once you wake up and you open those beautiful, that's already success enough.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Tita Marvi. We really appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
Oh,
having
thank
Thank
here.
you.
you.
Thank you so much, Tita
Thank
Marvi.
you. You're
Take
welcome.
take care. Get better. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you. I will. Bye.
Wow.
If I may,
Yes.
I really love that story, and from her why, her motivation to how she defines success. And I want to go on a whole thing here, like a whole discussion here, if we can.
Yeah, of
I think
course.
because this is really interesting. I That's the first time I heard. I didn't know. I've known her now for how many years now? 3 years.
Yeah.
I've seen her success. I've seen how much she's grown in the business. My things, I didn't know that she had many. Well, she called it heartburns. She thought it was heartburns, but in reality, it was heart attacks.
Yeah,
Right.
she had multiple, like I said, name the top like illnesses or diagnoses that can make you decline on an application. She had that.
She's had it.
Yeah.
See,
So
I'm like functional quadriplegic, everything. Like if you could, how I look at life, right? If you could tell yourself, why is this happening to me? I pretty much have the whole world falling apart, crumbling apart. My life is crumbling apart. I have all of these illnesses. I have, I can't feel. Think about that. I can't feel these touches. And you could just, there's two things. You could just give up on life. But she said no. She told herself. She said, she asked herself, what is the purpose of my life here?
I was given a second chance.
Right?
I was able to live again another morning, another day.
Yeah. Like,
what would I do with this second chance?
second chance.
Right?
And you've been given a second chance.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that didn't get a second chance, right? But for those who are still on their first chance, and we talk a lot about, starting. We talk about trying, even if we fail. Tita Marvi is a person that when everything, when life gave it to her hard, all these difficulties, she's still pushing through. She's still moving forward. So we think about that with ourselves, when we have a bad day. Is it as bad as what Tita Marivi's experience? When we don't want to start this venture, or when we don't want to start that business, or we don't want to work this day, all these different excuses that we come up with, that we make, so that we don't continue, we don't have to work as hard, we don't have to keep being consistent. I think about Tita Marivi's story, and I'm thinking, like, there is no doubt, like, all of my excuses that I make up, I shouldn't be having that if Tita Marivi is there, that's really pushing.
Because you always have to think about this. Is like, is my excuse right now really that big compared to other people?
Yeah.
If I was having this problem right now. There's other people that's struggling,
Yes.
right? Let's say, oh, my laptop is not working today. How can I even do this business? Somebody doesn't even have a laptop
Yeah.
and does the business. So you have to think about that one. Yes, sometimes when we talk to people, when you got excited to this business, you want to share this. Sometimes it's just not the right time, but at least you shared the business. But the problem with that one is that what if there's no right time?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, she was given a second chance. Most of us only had a first chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know is if we don't make a choice and we start regretting things, I was supposed to do that or things like that. There are people that sometimes, it takes them to hit rock bottom, or, like they said, you have your back against the wall before you even realize that, oh, this opportunity was, in front of me all along. But I was just, have a blurred vision on seeing these things just
Taking
because
it for
of
granted.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the main solution is like what she said is why not?
Yeah.
What's there to lose, right? At least like all our stories kind of like tying up all the podcasts like a different universe, right?
Yeah.
Now you see like what if you did this? At least now you see what's going on and you know what to do, right? So that's basically where your different perspective or view in life, can change. All right, we have a special guest.
We have another special guest here this afternoon. But that is one of the things that I'm just so excited. With doing this business, with being part of this, is yes, we've all had our difficulties. Yes, we've all made up excuses. We've all come up to a point now that now we're leading teams. We have our own business, we have our own organizations, we have our own agencies, and seeing stories like Tita Marivi, I mean, I made a commitment to myself this year that I wanted to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day. That's something I wanted to do now every single day. Well, not every single day, four times a week to work out. Like that's something that I wanted to go and bring to myself. Having that commitment and discipline. And there's some days where I'm just like, man, do I really need to work out?
Yeah.
Do I really?
Of course.
I just came back home from a
Long meeting.
Long meeting.
Didn't sleep
I
enough.
didn't get to sleep. My kids woke me up. I went to sleep at 2 a.m. Finishing up a lot of these different illustrations and analysis for clients. Not gonna wake up in 4 hours to do this, and you think to yourself, man, all these different excuses, and then you hear Tita Marivi's stories like, man, my excuse is so little.
Yeah.
It's so small. Like she gets up and she's given a second chance and she's giving it her all, right?
Yeah, and we're always saying like for us to be easily understand the products we have, to understand what we can offer. We recommend most of the time, why have your own so you can understand it, right? Like it's so in that way you can show that. And sometimes a lot of associates will always also say that you have to have one, just because if somebody asks you if you have one and you say you don't have one, then how can they believe you?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
But on her story, it didn't even stop her that she doesn't even have one. That's actually where she takes, motivation to actually tell her story, because I don't have one, and that's why I'm sharing it to you, because if I can bring back time and have this policy,
buy a bunch.
she will have one,
Yeah.
right? So it's a different way of, looking at life and the business. It's a different perspective. We sometimes it has to take the big of it, that issue. Let's say I have a heart attack, I have given second chance before you can even realize that. I'm not saying that was her, but sometimes it will come to that point before you can have that realization.
Yeah.
But like you said, is what if you weren't given a second chance? Right? You're going to have this constant battle with yourself, finding that answer. What if I've done that? What if I started? What if I listened to Ace or Fred? What if I joined the business, right?
Yeah. What if I just started?
Yeah. But the answer to that is like what Tita Marivi is, why not?
Yeah. Why
why
just
not?
go?
Why not do that? So that was a perfect answer to the question you had earlier. It's like, how do I start? Why not?
Yeah, why not just start?
Just do it, right?
All right, so welcome, Fred. Nice seeing you.
Thank you guys for having me. I know it's a little bit late. Not a little, but most of it. But I kind of know her story. I don't really know it fully. But I know she has a lot of struggles and she has a lot of things that she needs to go through. And like you were talking about, like we have all the excuses in the world.
Yeah.
And you think about it, she has the real excuse and she doesn't let that defeat her. So I think that's an awesome thing that she's doing. I believe, obviously, if she had the chance to go back in time, she'd probably buy all the policies that she could probably buy. I mean, that's definitely...
Yeah, and going back to excuses too is like, and that's what I was telling to my associates when I do the training, is that last year before the pandemic, all our complaint is I don't have time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I have work.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot go to the office because I have to wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. I don't have time with my kids.
Yeah.
Pandemic hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's an annual reset. It forced you to be home with your family. Have more time. It's still your reason
Still
is
have an excuse.
I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have time.
I cannot do the business because I cannot go out now because there's pandemic.
Yeah.
There's always excuses, and it's the same. You're just trying, instead of you having an actual excuse because you can do things, you're trying to make excuses so you don't have to do things.
Yeah.
Because like Tita Marivi said, she's basically in her own pandemic, on her own lockdown, because even though she can go out, she doesn't want to risk it because her immune system is low. But it didn't let her, stop her to do the business, and she can still do the business while she's at home getting well.
Exactly.
Right? So how do you, answer those type of excuses for it? Like how do you overcome those things? And I know all of us too have our own excuses.
Exactly. Like everyone has their own goals and what pushes them. I mean, obviously, if like I'll give you an example. Like with Ace, he wants that car that he wanted. He wanted to get a Tesla. I mean, not everyone can afford that car, but he has a drive. His drive was to have that goal. Mm-hmm. I think when someone gives me an excuse about our business, if they're saying they can't do it, they don't have time, it's because they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it. And how do I overcome someone saying that? I just, what I do is I give them the time. I give them, basically I say, hey, that makes sense. That means you're not at the right time or the right mindset for now. Let me know when something changes that makes you feel like you need to do this now. Because with Tita Mary V, I believe, unfortunately, it was her health issues that made her drive, but not everyone has to go through health issues to get that drive. I mean, everyone has their own issues to make sure that they can get that goal, especially with what we do. I believe we have to have a drive to be successful. Yeah. Like you were saying about working out, like I think that was you or Ace. Like you want to work out, you want to look good, you want to be healthy, but then there's days that you're like, dude, like I am too tired to wake up at 6 a.m. because to go run or to do these things. But then in your head, if you're driven, even though you're tired, you just get up and you do it and you feel good after it's done. Like when you do your boxing, you're like, I don't want to go. And
that's why I always say, like, even you don't feel good or, you have this excuse. Or I'm not saying every day you're happy and excited to go work out, but there are days like I don't want to work out, and you work out, even it's a crappy workout, like you just did whatever you can. It made you feel good because you still did it, right? Yep. So, so in a sense, sometimes you just have to ask that question, and that's why we forget when we present something like, okay, this is a new associate. You like the product, you saw value in it, and they say yes. Do you hate your job right now? Yes. You want to change your life? Yes. Then why not to start the business?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then they have all the excuses.
What's stopping you?
I don't have time, this and that. Yeah. I have to talk to my wife. I have to do all these things. But then it's like for us, I think what we do is we have the ability to tell them, like, we do have that because you guys already have the experience and the knowledge. So you can say, well, maybe you don't really want to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can sound rude, but it can be real. Because then it's like wasting their time, your time.
Yeah, we go straight to the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes a person to ask you that question, right?
It's like working out. Okay. Who wants to work out? You just want the end result. You want to look good.
Yeah,
but
you want to
how
look good.
do you do that? You have to go through the tough times. You got to go through the pain.
It's not like an overnight thing. You wake up in the next morning, you're ripped.
You got abs.
Everyone wants that. If that was the case,
A magic
everyone
pill,
would be
dude.
working. Yeah.
A magic pill. Give me abs overnight.
But that's a good analogy. I actually started thinking about, like, maybe that's a good way of doing the BOP. Like, you know, people need to work out in order for them to get the end result.
Yes.
But there's no magic pill in success.
Yeah, no one wants to go through that, but everyone wants to look like that.
Yes. Yes.
Just like this, everyone wants to be rich or wealthy or successful, but they don't want to go through the pain and the heartache and all the trouble.
They don't want to save money, you know?
They don't want to do
Yeah.
all that, and they don't want to do the next career or change a career or feel like it's scary, because I think there's most people that come into our business, they're just scared. They're not aware of this industry. They don't know what this company is. They don't know what's the future going to look like. But then in order for you to even get to that point and get your chance, you have to take that jump.
And that's because I was watching Low Key last night.
The premiere
the series. So
Oh, don't tell me yet.
yeah, so there was a portion, I wasn't gonna say what happened, but what he said is like, he wants to be a king and a lord, right, a god, and the way he can do it, even though he doesn't like it, is to incur fear to people, so that people respect him. And sometimes that's the problem too, is that because of this excuses, like, oh, I cannot be successful, I cannot be that, oh, I cannot be like them. Now you're clouding your mind. Instead of making excuses, you're saying things bad about those stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, don't join that. That's not true. The things like that, because you didn't make it. Right? It's the same thing as like working out. I'm not gonna do that diet. It's not real because I tried it, didn't work. But were you disciplined to do it?
Yeah. Did you actually do it?
You actually do it. Did you actually do it properly? Did you have a cheat day? Things like that. And now because it didn't work out to you because maybe you weren't consistent on it, and now you're gonna say, oh, doesn't work, isn't true, it's bad for you. So you're trying to overcompensate on the excuses by destroying that thing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a lot of times we experience too with our associates, like, or new associates that want to join the business, and they dip their toes and they said, oh, Ace showed me that I'm going to be successful, I'm going to earn this X amount of money, and it's been 2-3 weeks already that I've been attending training, I haven't making any penny.
Yeah.
But did you do the work?
Yeah.
Right?
What did you do during those 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah. You attended the trainings, but did you apply it?
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes those excuses can be smaller, but it can end up a bigger thing, right? So
it gets larger, because then now your mind's playing this game, like saying it never really worked anyways, or it was never really a real business, or people are telling me this, so I wouldn't have made money, or I wouldn't have been successful, because you're giving yourself an excuse to not do the business or not to take that chance. And you're right that people do that. A ton of people do that, and that makes the difference from someone that is successful to someone that is not, because they have to believe in it.
But I'm not saying like we're perfect. There's days that really like,
sure.
Like, that's actually like we're talking about workout, right? There were days, like we were talking about this a couple days ago, like there are times that you don't even feel presenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And like, of course, the good suggestion is don't force it if you don't really feel it, because you might end up, not good.
Like that one day I didn't feel like it.
Yeah. But sometimes too, because you have to do that too, and you have to push yourself, even you have that excuse you're not feeling well, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Like that one day that you were mentioning.
I was like, man, I don't feel like doing it, but I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And it actually ended up good.
Became really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just never know. I mean, Just like when you said working out, like there's days I don't want to go into jiu-jitsu. It's like 8 a.m. I'm like, I am tired. But then after you're done, you're just like, I'm so glad I did it. Like,
Yeah.
I got it out of the way. I did my thing. You know?
And for me, mentally too is good, just because, let's say, okay, I'm sore and I want to go work out, and then what happened is you ate bad, and now you're regretting, like, now you're downhill, like depressed, like, because you didn't work out and you ate
And
a
you
lot.
ate terrible.
Yeah, but compared to, like, okay, let me try working out, and now you feel good, even though, let's say, you ate bad. Of course, that's still bad. It's not an excuse to eat good, good food because you worked out, but it at least mentally you're okay, right? Because
Yeah.
you still push through, right? But yeah, but like A said, there's days that you don't feel like working out, but you still have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to go back a little bit. There was something interesting that both of you guys. I forgot who said it. The one where you guys said, if you quit, like I say, if you quit, it wasn't even really meant for me. There's actually a training that I did. A training that I did for one meeting. I can't remember which meeting it was. It was a while back already. And when you were thinking about quitting, when thinking about stopping, because all these excuses coming up, right? And you do quit, right? There's these people at the side, they're at the sidelines. They're at the sidelines. They went there for, we've said that you can do this as long as you put in the work, and then after 2 or 3 weeks they quit. All right. So there's these people in the sidelines who go, oh yeah, hey, welcome to the club. You weren't ever gonna make it anyways,
Yeah.
right? And then you start having all this self-doubt, like, maybe I shouldn't be part of these people. What's dragging me to have all these excuses, what's dragging me to quit, is because I have all of this pressure from people on the sidelines saying that you're never going to amount to what you're worth. Right? You're never going to amount
That's
to
true.
what you're worth.
That's why they say surround yourself with people with the same mentality,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right? But some people, and there's few people that use that type of problem as their motivation, like, oh, because people believe I can't make it.
Yep.
I'll show them I'll make it.
Yep.
Oh, believe me, I have that.
Yep.
Before. So it's one of those things that motivate me too. But sometimes also it can hit you.
Oh yeah.
It'll hit you sometimes.
Maybe
but-
they're right. Maybe it's not really
maybe-
for me.
Yeah, there's
Maybe.
times like that. I mean, I've been here for 17 years. And I mean, there's days like in the beginning, especially, it was like I always go like, man, I don't know if this is something for me,
Yeah.
But then I just get pushed. My mom just pushes me. Like it's basically like it's like it's here or nothing. Like, I got to that point that when I quit my job, I was like, there's no turning back. So I made force myself. Sometimes I think people need that. Like they need to get forced. There's no, like what you did to your brother. Like, he was forced to get a place, and in order for you to survive, you have to have the income, and that. So in order for him to be successful in this business, he has to force himself to,
Yep.
Yeah.
to pay those bills.
It just has to click. That
Yeah.
I have to do that.
Yeah, because if you have a backup, you're always gonna find a way to
Safety net.
excuse.
Exactly.
Like people that have a full-time job
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
they're just like, well, if this doesn't work out, in their head, in the back of their head, they know that it's not gonna work out. So then they just have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because their safety net can be your excuse too.
Yes.
And that's why, like, a lot of times as well, like I've seen this documentary too, is like it's hard to start something or be open mind because you start at home. When you want to venture on something, like, oh, I saw a vision on this business that this is going to be successful. Of course, I'm not saying tomorrow, but it takes time. And then the first one that will say no or doubt you will be the people in your house,
Yep.
right? The people, your family. We're just fortunate enough that our family supported us with the business, but there are some that, no, you have to go to school, find a job, do that. So it starts with that. Unless you get out of that comfort zone and venture out and have an open mind,
Yeah.
then that's the time you can only learn, right? And it's the same thing that, that's how we taught ever since, as a kid at school. You have to be perfect. You have to have A grades. You have to pass these things. And that's why we're so scared of failure.
Yeah.
Because if we fail, you get an F, I might, be behind another year or two in school. My parents is going to scold me. There's all emotional roller coasters going to happen because I have an F.
Yeah.
So now you're afraid of getting getting F or being a failure to someone.
Yeah.
You have to be perfect to someone. But the thing is, most of the people that are successful actually failed first.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of successful people even dropped out of college.
Yeah.
They failed, but now they're successful, right? So it takes that choice to see it, and goes back to why not?
Yeah.
Try it.
Why not?
Right?
Exactly.
Why not?
All right. So do you have any more questions?
No, I don't. It was good. It was.
All right. So I know
what
we know what we're mentioning. So hopefully by before our Super Saturday, we might have a special guest.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So that you don't want to miss that one. That will be an exciting one. So if you guys don't have nothing anymore, that's basically it.
All right.
Thank you.
So thank you guys so much for being on episode 5 of VIPs Only Podcast. Again with Ace, James, and Fred. And we thank again our special guest, Marivi. See you guys
Thank you.
next week.
See you next week.